it's very easy for management to get out of touch with the actual user, and you lack perspective because I believe that employees are the number one source, not only new product ideas, but also reporting bugs or problems in your process.
Welcome to a new episode of the Unquestioned podcast with Debaere and Willem Himpe. We're now already on the 7th episode and we have some spicy and awesome topics for you to talk about. But first of all, Louis, what are you wearing on your face?
Oh.
Why are you wearing orange glasses? I want to know the story behind it.
These old things, style points. No,
Style points for who?
It's because we're recording late at night, the grind, the hustle. I wear these from 6 p.m. Until I go to sleep in order to have 12 hours of blue light exposure and 12 hours of less light in order to sleep better and to have a better rhythm. Just like in the old days when there was no artificial light, but the sun.
Okay, you can as well go clubbing with those glasses on, or maybe for some techno parties. Actually, it's beneficial for multiple purposes. But as well, if it benefits, I might as well, because I work late at night with my laptop and.
Yeah, it's handy if you use your phone in bed, which you really shouldn't, but or for late night TV watching.
Okay, so for probably everyone and as well programmers, definitely a must buy. We'll see if we can get a sponsorship of the company. But let's go straight into the topics, Louis. And there's one major topic I want to talk to you, and is first of all, what is a hackathon?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe have you done a hackathon with Spotify? Explain a little bit what it is, and maybe some story that you have to share.
Yes, so the first thing people think when they hear a hackathon, this is a place where you can build stuff, but it has nothing to do with breaking things like a hacker would. It's really about building. And you have companies that organize external hackathons, but I want to talk about company hackathons, internal hackathons, sometimes called hack weeks or days of new ideas, quarterly or yearly. What is the goal? The goal is to get fresh ideas, to get the whole company involved, to get bottom-up feedback and new ideas about the product.
And maybe bottom-up, you mean like bottom-up really, every employee from every level in the organization that thinks about...
From HR to people running the building, everybody can get their hands dirty and you can work in a different part of the organization you might not know. Somebody from law can join the programmers. It's really up to you to finally get that idea that you've had and you're stuck in your head about why doesn't this work. We've all had this feeling where you're using one of your apps and like, why don't they just implement this small thing? Come on, it's so obvious. Well, this is your chance, and the opportunity that you have at a big company is to use the army of developers to ship your suggestion into the final product. So usually companies will do like a competition, a top 10, top 3 projects, and the ones that win have a chance to make it into the product. Like we have examples from Facebook. Their video product was originally started by employees.
But maybe let's quickly go, why are they actually doing it? Because now we say immediately like, I think why they are doing it is mainly because everyone who's working in a company has certain insights which are unique. And like you said, put a person with legal, person that's a software engineer, person that works at the accountancy department, and these kind of, you create completely new insights that you wouldn't otherwise. And I think why are they doing it now? Is they doing it because companies, there's not as much hierarchy as it was before. Before it was, like you said, from top to bottom, this is what we need and this is what you're gonna do. But now technology is changing so fast, and it's often very difficult to sometimes know from the top what's happening on the bottom or within your organization. And this is like a boost of new insights, a boost of new potential. But then isn't that as well dangerous that these things are immediately, like you said, implemented on scale? Or why is this so good in your opinion?
Yes, well, if you're used to top-down giving instructions and the hierarchy, it's very easy for management to get out of touch with the actual user, and you lack perspective. You lack different perspectives, people using or misusing your product in different ways, and that's why it's beneficial to have again different viewpoints and new ideas organically, and because you can't just find your way, like invent new stuff by giving instructions like you would to an army.
Yeah, and currently, like majority is tech companies that are doing it. Is correct? Do you think every company should do this, or are there certain like edge cases? Because it's much easier to quickly, let's say, hack something with software than, for example, do that in a hospital. Let's say.
Absolutely. I think every product company should do this, but there is opportunity for every single company out there to gather employee feedback, because I believe that employees are the number one source of not only new product ideas, but also reporting bugs or problems in your process. Because they are so close. They are the closest feedback loop you get. So if you don't listen, you're missing out on so much valuable information.
And for Belgium or other companies or CEOs or managers, you don't need to do a hackathon specifically for what you offer to your customers, but like you said as well, the process. And often there's many things that your employees hate and that they even know how to fix it, but they don't dare to say it, or there's not the right place or time. And this kind of once or twice a year, or even more every quarter, that there's the exact time where they can bring it up and they can even build it or work it out so that it can be implemented on the whole organization.
Yes, you can gather feedback throughout the year, but why is it good to plan a few days for this? Is because then there's no excuse to work on other stuff. You really can go all out with your idea and actually implement it.
And I think actually that a lot of established organizations, they don't want to do these things because literally, like with Facebook or what you do at Spotify, it's 1 week.
Yes, 1 week a year.
Could you explain a little bit what you do there on Spotify?
Yes, so what we do is we have a theme, and
it's called sitting on our asses and not doing anything for a week.
No. Like there are different themes every year, just to have a bit of constraints, but it's really wide open. And you gather ideas up front, and I'm used to this format where you pitch your idea. You say, hey, let's try this out, and you recruit people to help you work on your problem. And this can be like an inspiration you have. So we've had at Runtastic, which is like Strava running app. Someone was using Duolingo. As you get a Duolingo notification right now, and they know that Duolingo users know that Duo the Owl is very aggressive at keeping your streak alive. Because repetition is how you learn. Well, he said, why don't we have streaks? And so in the span of 2 days, they implemented streaks for Runtastic right into the product, and then they did a little demo for the rest of the organization. And I think they ended up winning or making the top 3, and that way you get exposure to the whole company, including management, which can then pick up your idea and give it more awareness.
Yeah, it's often very easy to keep in your old, let's say, patents, and other organizations often they say like, oh, we have so much other work to do, we should do this optimization or that. Well, if they would just let their employees not work, but just do a couple of days of not the repetitive work, but do something completely new, their revenue or other stuff might double or must probably have a lot more growth than if they would just keep going with the train.
Yes, and it helps with motivation too, because if you have a lot of maintenance work, it's nice to have a greenfield, fresh idea, because usually you have a lot of infrastructure to keep. And not only product ideas are welcome, but also ways to improve your daily work. One of my favorite tools at Runtastic when I started out there was the team page. And the team page was an overview of everyone at the company and where they were sitting, including the right floor. And this is like for a new hire, this is awesome, because you instantly know where to go look for people. And even with the tool, I was wandering around too much sometimes, but it helped. And this team page was developed internally using our resources, our engineers, to help company process, for example.
If you don't look at if you put the privacy aside, but as well, you were able to create much better connections by just quickly going to that person in real life than, for example, 10 Zoom calls that just go basically about the job that had to be done or the question, but not really the face-to-face. And this app helped you at a lower barrier to go to that person.
This lower threshold can help you for the rest of the year. And that's the thing, good ideas also come from frustrations. Solve your own problem first. If you're fed up with some bullshit process, some bullshit thing you have to do every day, well, keep it in mind, write it down, and then when Hack Week comes around, maybe you can solve it. For example, with remote work, maybe you have trouble keeping up with people's time zones. Well, now Slack has a feature for that, but maybe you can enhance that.
And I would really promote other companies to do this, because it's so frustrating if you you're an employee at a company and you have so many IDs, but it feels like, oh yeah, put it in the ID box, and actually they just throw it out because they say there's so much other important stuff. Like as managers or CEOs of companies, really dare to take a step of doing a hackathon or doing something similar, so that you really can give a new life into your organization and give a voice to your employees. Because
take the excuses away as well. That way you move the responsibility on them. And they have their chance. Now is their time to step up.
Yeah, well, that's perfectly to wrap up, step up. All the employees, CEOs and managers, do try a hackathon or do more hackathons to improve your company and the value that we can create to customers and to people in general. So thank you very much for this episode. Hopefully you liked it, and if you have any feedback, again, let us know. And hopefully the Orange Gloss Company of Louis seen this episode and can give us a little sponsorship money. But yeah, that's all. People, see you on another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast. Bye bye.